stop lying. Like,
hey, y'all be lying.
Like, straight up, bro. Like, stop lying. Like, if you actually want a relationship with the woman or the man or whomever, give them...
Or the thems.
Right. Give them the option. Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the JK Way. I am Jay.
I'm Kay.
And we back with another video.
Back at it again.
We hope you enjoyed the last one. If you haven't checked it out, we talked about, got pretty deep. We were asked, how do we know we were each other's person?
Yeah.
And we really broke it down. Hopefully you guys that have watched it, it'll definitely help you out with your future relationships or your current relationship.
Absolutely.
There's some general advice in there as well, just to, help us make it through this crazy world we live in.
Because it's crazy, y'all.
Kay is going to tell you guys what we're going to be discussing today so we can get this conversation going.
But before we do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you are not subscribed, what are you doing? Press the button.
And if you haven't gotten your business attire merch, hey, check it out. Success isn't a look.
It's not a look.
It's a lifestyle.
Okay. So we asked you guys to give us some questions that you would like us to cover. Just some different topics that we can discuss and give you, of course, our way, advice, the way we might do it. So I'll be reading one of the questions. One question we got was, for us millennial couples, we see a lot of people giving up on their relationship so easily. What advice would you give us to learn how to work through it? So, of course, we are a millennial couple. So we have some kind of experience with that. But for starters, I'll say the terms giving up is kind of like, it's like, what exactly does that mean? Is it giving up because somebody is just doing something crazy and you're not tolerating it? Or is it giving up like, he looked at you wrong today and you got an attitude, so now y'all done? Like, so I guess we might need a little bit more on the giving up part, but in all, like I would say, I just think millennials, we kind of have this like, I don't give up attitude. Like, and if something is not what we want, which I think in the last video I discussed, like your peace, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody is disrupting, if y'all anything like me, if somebody or something is disrupting my peace, I will cut it off. I don't care who you are, what you are, or what you got going on. My peace comes first. So I don't know if that's necessarily the millennial thing or if that's just my thing, but I think the reason why certain relationships, people are giving up so easy, I think people are just tired. People are tired of being mistreated. People are tired of, being disrespected. People are tired of giving so much in a relationship and not receiving like reciprocity. I think millennials are a little bit more independent. Some of us, not everybody, but I think millennials are a little bit more independent or okay with being on some basic stuff as long as they're happy. Like they can be like just by themselves. I can do bad all by myself type thing. And I think past generations, parents, grandparents, and things of that sort, like I think their relationships, like it was something going on around social media. Like, why do you think our grandparents' relationships last longer? Or it was some kind of
that question get asked. Like,
just in general. And I think it's because back then, our grandparents, our parents, our great-great-grandparents, what they needed from the other sex was different from what we need now. Like back then, women weren't allowed to work or they were only allowed to do certain things. And so just the way of the world, the men were able to go out and bring money, food, whatever back. And so the woman's job, which is we're getting into these household role or gender roles, and we'll get into that later. But I think the world was different. People needed and required different. And the world we're living in now is so different. Like, and so we're not, back then couples probably stayed together because they didn't have no other choice. Like, your husband is bringing in all of this stuff, you don't have no other option. Like, you either gonna go get with another man that's gonna do that because you could not go get it for yourself. And women these days can go get it for themselves, like if they want to. And so I think, couples, honestly, I think it's the opposite sometimes. Like, the question was, why don't we feel like millennial couples like stick it out? And I honestly think some millennial couples be staying together for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And they be sticking it out when they really need to unstick it. Like,
facts.
It kind of just depends on the situation. Every situation is different, but if your situation, if you're not feeling the love, if you're getting disrespected, if they're messing with your non-negotiables, if you're not happy, you know what I'm saying? Those things won't change. And so if those things are happening, then I feel like you should leave. And it's not a millennial thing. It's just a person thing. Like, they're not treating you right. Leave. Now, there are relationships that have like real life issues, but if that's your person and it's all
everything's
love,
like even playing field,
right?
I would say, as far as millennials not sticking together, Kay said a bunch of the stuff, but it's like you either want to be in a relationship or you don't want to be in a relationship. And I think now we're starting to realize, like, these old school ways of doing things, sometimes they just don't really fit into everyone's equation.
Yeah.
We always say, like, why love isn't how it used to be, or why is this generation like that? Everybody says something about every generation.
Right.
We're literally doing it right now. But people tend to try and hold on to what was, and then try to incorporate it into what's now. Like,
yeah.
And it literally just don't work out. Like, from my world in an IT perspective, if you got this old software and you keep trying to upgrade it and do this, eventually you're just like, all right, it's time for something new. And I feel like that's how people are. For one, you probably haven't gone through and thought to yourself, like, okay, non-negotiables. Those are huge. We said it in the previous video, but those things are really huge. So now with social media, when you see these lives, people living these such free lives, why would you hold on to something to where you can't fully live your life? Because at the end of the day, it's still your life.
Right.
Like, even, we're together, it is our life. But
I have a life, he has a life.
We are two separate people.
And we still are.
We move as a unit.
Right.
We got one unit and another unit, and a unit together.
Right.
We put us together. But yeah, back to what we were saying, like, when you look at your grandparents and your great grandparents, and you just look, especially being African American, like, you look back at how life was, they really didn't have a choice. I wouldn't even say they were fighting for the love. It was, this is our situation.
Survival. It was survival.
And depending on where you raised that situation was dire. Like, I'm from Georgia, she's from Cali. Back in the day, those places probably look entirely different. And when we talk to some of our parents stuff, you can still feel that energy that they hold on to from back in the day. So, I've had conversations with my parents, they have their ups and downs, but they're like, it basically ends up saying we stuck it out because we had to. It's like, you don't have to do that anymore.
And that's why millennial couples are not fighting through, because we literally don't have to. Like, that's just what it is.
With the job, women being able to do more. I mean, even minorities being able to do more. You just don't have to settle anymore, and you rightfully should not settle.
Right.
Like I said previously, man, and I stick by something. You may hear me say a lot of these things over and over again, but you get one life.
Yeah, that's facts.
You get one physical life. I don't know what you believe about when you leave this earth, but from what I know and from what I can see, you get one of these things. And you don't want to look back on your life and say like, oh man, like
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I should have did this, I should have did that, but you never took that step to do that. And that kind of, I guess I'll segue to the household roles.
Or gender roles. That was another question.
Yeah.
Like gender roles, I guess, how do we feel about them and stuff like that?
Yeah, like, so that piggybacks off what we were just talking about. Like, there was a point in time where you wanted a housewife.
Did they want it, or that was just what they had to do?
From a man's perspective, I would say, because it's still kind of true today, you wanted a housewife, somebody that's like super submissive, somebody that's just gonna take care of everything, and they gonna basically wait on you hand and foot.
But that stems from what we were just talking about, like that. Do they want a housewife, or they want what was told they should have? Because the idea of relationships back then was the man brings home the bread and the man bring on the meat and the woman fried. Like, so you saying, you're just saying men wanted housewives. Did they want that, or they were just told to want that because that's just what the picture has been?
I was speaking in terms of like, maybe today may not be a literal like housewife or what it was back in the day, but those like submissive, they do what you want type things are still very present. Like, a lot of guys want the woman to depend on them, which they don't necessarily like. The men have equal, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs in it, but I feel like everybody has an equal opportunity to get where they want to be within their environment. It's just up to them to pursue more.
Right.
So with men, like, we still want that like submissive, be my housewife kind of thing, but it don't gotta be this one-sided, I am the provider, she is the birth giver type thing. It doesn't have to be that way. And I think we should really just do away with these like...
Wait, can I pause you for a second? So when you said submissive, can you break that down like for our viewers? So like, what is that? Because I know a lot of women, they hear the word submissive and they're like, no, I'm not finna submit. Well, you trying to control me? So when you say most men want a submissive woman, but she ain't gotta be just the birth giver or whatever, like, what do you mean when you say, like, what does that mean to you, like a submissive woman?
Well, for me personally, submit more so means, and that's kind of like a really strong word, like submit more so means, for me, that someone that's actually going to listen, right? And I don't mean listen as in like, if I say do this, go do it. No, I don't mean it that way, because fellas, we've been in relationships to where women preach be vulnerable to them. Like they want you to be vulnerable. They want you to just express your feelings. But depending on that woman you're with, a lot of the times they hold on to what you're expressing to them as ammo. And then when you get into an argument or a debate about something, they throwing all of that stuff back at you. So in my opinion, submitting is you're actually listening and comprehending what I'm saying to help my situation. It's not more so you're the woman, you do what I say. That's not what I'm saying at all. First of all, I can't speak on what a significant other would want, but if somebody just kind of like, hey, you're doing this because I said so, that's not right.
We ain't saying stay or go, but we saying
you might need to check that. And then as far as
so basically, like somebody who can submitting, like can listen to you and
listen and comprehend.
Basically submit to your
my
emotions,
your like what you could submit to, like even your hobbies, right? I love watching anime and playing video games. When I think of submit, it's she allows me that opportunity to play video games, to be myself, to go to the gym, to go play basketball or football. And she's like, okay, I understand he has these hobbies. He's had these hobbies before he even knew I existed, which is another thing I forget that people forget when they get into a relationship, going in with these stereotypes and these roles. People had a life before they even knew you.
Yeah.
They had a life for the most part. If y'all grew up together and had this Cinderella story,
cool.
Great.
Right.
But a lot of people don't. So
Right.
you had a life before that. And I feel like with me personally, if somebody's impeding on that, and if we're talking about being submissive, that is the opposite. Like, you're not being submissive. You're just you don't want to feel like another obstacle in somebody's life. You don't want to feel like a hurdle. Because you stepped into their life and now you're rearranging. Like, there's going to be some rearranging in a relationship, but your core values should stay the same. Like, you're not stepping into a relationship with a person, at least I hope not, and then they're just going to straight up try to change who you are. Like, you need to do this because I'm your husband and you're my wife, versus like, you need to do this because I'm already with you because I know you're capable of providing me with that emotional support or whatever that thing the male needs or whomever needs in the relationship. You need to be able to look, listen, comprehend those things. That, I feel like that is a better form of submission.
Okay, so you broke down submission as far as, we ain't talking like old school submissive, like you do whatever I say. It's
right, because I bring home the bacon.
Right, yeah, we ain't on that.
Everybody can bring the bacon, the pig,
the
knife.
All of that.
Everybody can do that.
But so, and like another typical gender role, everybody say like, the woman keeps the house and the man goes to work. But here at the JK way, listen, we both live in this house.
Yeah.
We both use the same stuff. So guess what?
we
both finna clean it. Like,
right.
and that's like, but that was part of our conversation. You know, that was one of the whole things from the beginning when we discussed, like, what are you looking for? Because I told him, like, I love what I do. I love making my own money. Like, I love to be there for you. But what I'm not gonna do is, I don't cook every day. I don't even cook often. You know, I can get you some breakfast. And if I don't cook, I can make sure you got some food or however that looks.
Right.
But I will cook. It ain't like I just don't know how. The reality is I don't enjoy cooking. I've never enjoyed cooking. And that's just me. Like, that's just me. And so I was like, listen, if you're expecting this, and this, I'm not it. And I'm not even about to try to be that. Like, it's just not, that's just not, no, it's a no. So, but like I said, we had this conversation at the beginning, and I think that's an issue sometimes with millennial couples. Like, y'all talking about the cute stuff at the beginning, and this is the stuff that really, really matters, because when you go live with somebody, like, all of this stuff comes out, and then people get surprised when, you don't like to cook. You really nasty. You don't clean either. Like, and now it's like, now y'all mad, and all of this could have been prevented, you know, had y'all had this conversation about gender roles. So we're not really with the stereotype, like, when it comes to gender roles, because we both finna clean.
For the most part.
We both gonna cook. If you hungry, eat. Like, and that was one thing.
I said that. Because
when I told him, I was like, I'm not a huge cooker. Like, he was like, I was eating before you came, and I'm gonna eat if I'm hungry. And listen, I was like, whew, yes, you get it. You understand that I'm gonna do my thing and I'm gonna make sure we good, but I'm not gonna be cooking every day. But when he told me, like, girl, I was eating before I met you, I'm gonna keep on eating. If I'm hungry, and then if I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. And I really appreciated that, because that goes back when I was like, I can really just be myself. Like, I didn't feel any pressure. Like, dang, now I'm married now, I gotta be in this kitchen all the time and she's slaving over the stove. Like, no, he know what it is, and it works for him, it works for us. Like I said, we eat and we eat good. But I'm just not gonna be preparing it all the time. And that's just that.
Yeah, like I was watching this video on I think it was Instagram. And you know, people talk about this stuff all the time. Back to the housewife, the gender roles. And this dude broke it down, was like, okay, so you can cook. Cool. I've been like, he said he'd been meal prepping for however long. I've been meal prepping for, probably about 2-3 years now. Like that's never been one of my prerequisites for a woman, is to be able to cook.
And some men that is a prerequisite, and that's okay. Just go find somebody that want to cook.
Exactly. Like, if you want a stereotypical like housewife, take care of the kids, you know, probably doesn't work or whatever that looks like for you, go get that. We're not saying don't
try to make somebody that.
Right. Don't force somebody to do that. If they don't want to do that, they're not going to do that. And I've learned that plenty of times, unfortunately, in relationships. But what's the old saying? You could take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
I mean, that applies to everything. And another one of those gender roles that I personally just disagree with who works, like who brings home the money, like who finna provide, who finna pay the bills every month.
Yeah.
I'll lead by saying this: as far as bills go, do what works for y'all as a couple. Whether it's
one of y'all paying everything,
or 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, whatever that is. Do what works for the household, because it's going to benefit both of y'all.
Yeah.
It's not going to put stress on one person. Yeah. And if the one person is making all the money or paying all the bills, the other person, by default, if you're just a good person, you should be doing something that makes them feel so special on a regular basis. Like, you know, do something that like those little things, like leave a note on the mirror that morning before they leave for work, or do something to keep them, you know, aware that, oh, I know he loves me or she loves me, and I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, if the other person is doing everything, and the other person could be the woman. Like, I know people where the woman is like the breadwinner and the husband stays home and he cares for the house and the kids, or, you know, and like I said, it's vice versa. There are men who do all that and the woman stays home. Whatever it is, whatever end of the spectrum you're on, if you're the one paying everything or you're the one at home or receiving, it's like naturally, if somebody's doing everything for you as far as making sure you got a roof over your head, food, all of this, I feel like the least you can do is keep a house clean. Cook if you don't cook, you know, just
get his favorite meal.
Hire somebody. If money ain't an issue for y'all, because it must not be. If only one person is bringing in the income, y'all must be living some kind of, you know.
Y'all probably doing all right for whatever all right looks like for y'all.
Right. And so it's like, I just feel like if somebody is doing the majority in one area as a partner, this just goes back to partnership. Like, whatever your partner isn't doing, you should be doing. And so if your partner is bringing in everything and providing everything, the least you can do is tend to those things. Like, if your partner is tending to everything, the least you can do is make sure they got a roof over their head. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. So it's just, that's where that partnership thing come in. I think a lot of people got that wrong, especially in this day and age. These millennials around here, they want you to do some want you to do everything for them, and you just be out here living a good life. Like, you know, from the men to the women, there are men who their woman goes and make all the money and he rolling around in her car, hanging with the homies. And it's like, bro, I ain't working as hard for you to be doing this. Right. And on the flip side, like, there are men who, you know, doing all this stuff And the women just want to carry the designer bags. They want to be at brunch all day, and that is cool. But just get you somebody who's okay with that. Like,
right.
if you just want to be out here living your best life while your significant other is handling everything, make sure you got a significant other who don't care, because there are men and women in this world that are okay with financing your lifestyle and you just, a nice little arm
Trophy.
candy. Yeah, like there are people like that, and that's okay. We're just saying don't go, wanting something that the other person don't want and vice versa.
Which happens all the time. Like,
all the time.
We go in with these expected roles.
Expectations. That's one thing that'll kill a relationship.
Right. We go in saying like, because I feel like everybody said this one way or another in high school. I'm going to be 26 with 2 kids and married by 26.
Which is an expectation, because where do you get that from?
Yeah, everybody said that at least once or whatever that number was, and then you realize life actually happens. Like, life is real.
Right.
People forget that life is real and things change. Just for example, about Kay and our relationship, when I was transitioning from my condo to her place, she handled a lot of the stuff because I've been paying like 1.5, 2 mortgages type thing. The way we have our bills, we'll keep that to ourselves. But she understood that it wasn't about like who makes the most money, who's the man or the woman in the relationship, who's the breadwinner. It was, what can I do to help your life be better?
Yeah.
Which goes back to when I said in the last video about, it wasn't about the money. It was about, is this going to help improve your life, therefore improving our life? Are we going to benefit from this? Because our bed is really, really comfortable. We benefited together from that. It's not this one-sided thing.
Right.
Like, you'll see, couples that stick it out for years and years, and maybe they were trying to make it work. But at the end of the day, if it's not working, if you want these stereotypical roles, get them. If you don't. If it's not working, be honest with yourself. Either y'all go do something that we did prior to us getting married was we had premarital coaching. Not necessarily counseling, but coaching. Yeah. And one of the things that our coach said was, is it your junk that you're bringing to the relationship? Like, leave your junk out of the relationship. Is it something that, like, we all have our stuff. We all come with some crap that we picked up from another relationship or a past experience, and we project it onto our loved ones. It's natural, it happens, but you got to be aware of those things. Right. You got to be conscious of yourself. You got to be conscious of what you actually want. Like we were saying, if you want a housewife, get a housewife. If you want multiple women or multiple men, you'd be surprised what asking these questions will do. Like, just ask the questions. Yeah. What do you want? Or
be honest.
Yeah, be honest. Honest. Like, I learned this from how me and Carissa got together. If you are direct, and if you're honest, that gives the woman or whomever the opportunity to make a decision. Yeah. And that goes for the gender roles, and that goes for why millennial couples aren't fighting, because you're not giving the person the opportunity to make a decision.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what I want in our relationship. Can you do this for me? If not, you got 2 choices. We either gonna have to figure it out,
right?
Or I'm out of here.
Yeah.
What else did you wanna?
I think that was. I mean, we actually had a few different questions, but we're trying to like tie questions together.
Yeah, those are very closely related.
So I think we pretty much covered why millennials don't stick it out like they used to. Why millennial couples don't stick it out like, you know, couples in the past used to, and gender roles. So I think we pretty much
Well, so
I think we pretty much covered that, guys.
If you could sum it up for the women one time, like we did last time, because we're on the same page, but I feel like it's necessary to hear a woman's perspective, and to hear a man's perspective. Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I don't think millennials are like fighting to stay together, because, you know, people just want peace and want happiness, and if somebody's not adding to that, like, you can't make somebody happy, but if somebody's not adding to your happiness or your peace, like, people just like, I'm out of here. It's no point. Like, you literally don't have to be in a situation that's not benefiting you. Like, there are too many people in this world. There are too many opportunities in this world, and if somebody is taking you off of your path, you literally don't have to stay. So I think that's why a lot of millennials aren't staying together, because they understand, like, I don't have to deal with this. As far as the gender roles, do what works for your household, your relationship. Like, I think at the beginning of our relationship, it could have been like a couple things that I was like, you know, I think I want this, and then when I thought about it, I'm like, I actually don't even want that thing. That's just what I've been told that I wanted. And I had to be honest with myself, like, I don't desire those things. And so with the gender roles, like, see what it is that you truly want for your relationship. And, you know, if some of it sticks with the stereotype, cool. Just find somebody else who's sticking with that same stereotype. And if it's not, if it's kind of going against the grain a little bit, find somebody who's willing to go against the grain. Like, in a nutshell, I think that's pretty much my point of view.
For the fellas, I would say this first and foremost: stop lying. Like,
hey, y'all be lying.
Like, straight up, bro. Like, stop lying. Like, if you actually want a relationship with the woman or the man or whomever, give them,
or the thems.
Right. Give them the option. Like, it frustrates me because, like, date. If you want your relationship to be successful in this world of everybody can do pretty much whatever they want, you need to vet people out. Like, dating can suck sometimes, but fellas, if you're actually meeting other people, let that person know. And if this is how you know if they're gonna rock with you in the long run or not. If they're like, okay, cool, I understand. Hey, we could do our own thing, and then wherever life takes us, if we reconnect, boom, that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But when you go in there, and this is where it messes stuff up. You go in there like you macho man, like you breadwinner shorty, or whoever you wanna be, breadwinner LaFlair, and you flex and you do it all this, and you show all these girls these fancy things, and you big ball, and you're doing whatever, and then you just drop the bag on her like, I don't want to be with you. It's like, why'd you waste that woman's time? Why did you waste that time? And vice versa for women. If you, like, just be intentional. Be intentional. Stop lying. Like, if you're talking to other people, tell the person that you don't owe it to them, but honestly, from trial and error, if you tell that person, they literally have a choice. They're gonna stick around, or they're not. And if they stick around, something good may come out of that. But that's my 2 cents on it. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Just be honest.
Stop lying. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Everything.
F on the end.
Tell the truth. Because it will set you free. It will set you free.
Well, on that note, we set free around here. And yeah, I think that's everything. Once again, if y'all have not watched our past videos, please go watch them. If you're not subscribed, we would greatly appreciate it. And drop some comments. Like, give us feedback. We love feedback. We'll come back and respond to y'all. And yeah, I think that concludes the show for today.
Yes, sir. And if you haven't grabbed your business attire yet, hey,
what you waiting for?
We will have the link to our website. Remember, Success.
It's not a look.
It's a lifestyle.
Bye, guys.
Peace.